Mr. Samba, I'd just like to go back to Gambia oil first before we move on to another subject. In your testimony before the Commission, when you appeared last, you were quite categoric that you did not have anything to do with the sale of Gambia. It was handled by Mr. Bazi. The sales agreements for both the aborted sale between the Gambia government and Gambia Oil, as well as the sale agreement between Gambia Oil and KGI International, indicate that you did sign on these agreements. I'd like to show them to you. That's BB75A and BB75C. If you do have anything to say about them, please tell the Commission.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, can you look at them first, please? Thank you.
I've seen them.
Okay. Yes, if you have any explanation.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
I mean, I think when I was giving my evidence, I stated that I couldn't remember signing any document. But when I had Bolaji giving evidence, I decided to ask the bank, request the bank to provide me with all the documents that he cited when he was during the course of his evidence. And I must say that, I mean, it was fait accompli, because throughout my evidence, I categorically stated that I was never involved in the transaction, meaning that from the word go, they have never involved me. Even if you look at all the correspondence from the beginning, and from the beginning, that is, from the beginning, meaning that when they were negotiating with government at the start, if you look at the correspondence, the minutes and everything, nothing indicates that I was part of it. In fact, even the letters, the minutes of meetings, even the minutes of the meeting with Lekon, who was the then general manager of Guarantee Trust, I was not present. So as a matter of fact, it was fait accompli.
What do you mean? What do you mean by fait accompli?
Fait accompli, meaning that, I mean, everything was negotiated. All the negotiations, the price and everything. In fact, I came to know about the price after the fact. What I mean by fait accompli is that at that point in time, I could never have said no. Because, I mean, going by experience, especially with the former head of state, if he has an interest to protect, you dare not stand on his way. He will either trample you or smash you. And considering my business investment in the country, and even my life could have been endangered. So at that point in time, I had no other choice but to sign the agreement. In fact, if you look at the agreements, the agreement started with the Gambia government. That is, the Gambia government negotiated with Gamvej and decided to go for it. There is correspondence to that effect. I mean, there's a letter written by Njoguba indicating that government was interested in the factory.
What letters are you talking about? What letters are you talking about? Are these letters admitted, or do you have letters you would like?
I think the letters have been admitted, because what I did was, when I had the evidence of Bolaji, I requested the bank to give me all those letters. In fact, that was the first time I saw this correspondence. And they are all pointing to the fact that
Mr. Samba.
Sorry, ma.
Mr. Samba.
Yes, ma.
You know, you are here to give evidence,
yes,
not to make presumptions on the evidence.
Not to make
presumptions or assumptions on the evidence.
No, I'm stating
So when
facts,
you say they all point to the fact, you seem to be making an argument. You are here just to assist us with the facts. If you are not involved in the transactions, as you said, you cannot tell us about letters that were being exchanged and what import. When your lawyer is here, at the appropriate time, she can make her own submissions. But for you as a witness, you just tell us the facts as you know them and as you participated in them.
Yes, ma'am, but I'm just pointing out at these letters to buttress.
We need to know what letters you're talking about.
Okay,
if these are letters...
I can make reference to these letters, if you may permit me, ma'am.
Yes, we need, Mr. Samba, a moment. We need to know whether these letters are tendered. If they are tendered, then you refer to the exhibits. Okay, so if you have the letters, you should tell us the letters so we can refer to the exhibits. You can refer to the dates and the reference, and we'll tell you the exhibit. So you will speak from our exhibits instead of... Yes, all right.
The first one here is the...
Mr. Samba, maybe it's easier if I just give us the letters that have been exhibited. All right? And if you have any other letter that is not an exhibit, then you can bring it forth.
Yes. But can I look at can I tell you which ones are relevant?
I'm going to give you the exhibits.
Okay.
Because those are numbered so that the record will make sense.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to show you BB 75A series. There are 3 letters dated 23rd March to 2010, 24th December 2010, and 26 October 2009.
Yes, this one is relevant because it's in reply.
Mr.
Sorry,
Samba,
I'm sorry to say relevant.
what I would like to know,
yes.
You're saying this was the first time you were seeing those letters.
Pardon?
You're saying when you spoke to the managing director,
yes.
That was when you were provided with these letters.
Exactly, ma'am.
You're also saying you did not participate in the process of negotiation of the sale.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, what do you want to say about these letters as a matter of fact, not as a matter of addressing the commission on the letters?
Like I said, I saw these letters for the first time when I requested the bank to give it to me.
Yes.
Like this proposed sale of Gambia Oil Company Limited, the reply to it, to the letter of offer. The letter of offer was written by Mohammed Bazi, I think. And in reply to that, they are saying that His Excellency the President, having noted the contents of your letter, has instructed me to inform you that the plant and machinery can be bought at the price of 2.7. So this is in reply to a letter written on behalf of Gambia, which I was not aware of.
You said that?
Pardon?
You have said that?
Yes.
Yes. Is there anything you can say that will assist the commission in the investigation as a witness of fact before the commission?
About the...
anything that you want to tell the commission?
No, I think I have already said it by saying that I was from ab initio not involved at all in the negotiations. It was only after that they brought this contract for me to sign. Initially they brought the contract, government contract, and I signed that one, which was not signed by Mambure, the Minister of Finance at the time. And after that, they brought another agreement. So, like I said, okay, I couldn't have stopped it.
Yes, you've said that.
Yes.
Now let's take them one by one. The letter, the first contract with government, who brought it to you to sign?
It must have been Mohamed Bazi.
Okay.
It must have
All
been.
right. Was there any reason why Mambure Njai did not sign?
I don't know. I wouldn't know. Because like I said, I was kept in the dark. No, so it was just, they brought the contract to me, like I said, I had no choice. Because it was almost consummated. The
okay,
only thing that was left is my signature. I would even call my signature a rubber stamp. Because at that juncture, I couldn't have said no.
Mr. Samba.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's move on to the second contract.
Yes, ma'am.
At the time, the record showed that you were chairman of Social Security and Housing Finance Corporation.
Yes.
When the contract was brought to you to sign, and Social Security was required to provide the security for the $2 million, which was part of the purchase price of $2.7 million. What was your position on it?
My position was no. Even if you look at the walkabout resolution of Social Security, my signature is not there. I frown upon this transaction from the word go. So when it was brought to the board, even at the Guaranteed Trust Board level, I made it categorically clear to the board that we should return the monies.
That was afterwards.
But even with Social Security, if you look at the walkabout resolution, my signature is not there.
That is correct, Mr. Samba. What I would like to ask you, your signature is not on the walkabout resolution. What we would like to know is whether there is any record anywhere indicating that you did not support the transaction.
Well, I think maybe minutes of the board of Guaranteed Trust Bank, because at that point, when it came to the board, I was very vehement.
I'm talking about the time at which you signed the sale agreement.
Pardon?
I'm talking about the time when you signed the sale agreement between KGI and Gamvej.
No, it's the same process. I mean, they brought the agreement between the Gambia government and KGI and
who brought it?
Gamvej.
Yes.
It was brought to me by Mohamed Bazi, and this same Mohamed Bazi brought the one for KGI.
No,
so at that point in time, really, looking at the situation in the country, I mean, I knew very well that it was wrong.
Mr. Samba, my question.
Finish, please.
Yeah.
My question is in relation to the Social Security angle.
Yes.
You were the chairman.
Yes.
It is correct the walkabout resolution did not have your signature.
Yes.
My question is a simple one. At that time, is there anywhere where we can find a record of the stance that you are now explaining to the commission?
Yes, ma. It goes without saying, because the mere fact that
what goes without saying? That
is the fact that I was against it. The mere fact that it was brought to me and I didn't sign, I mean, it's an indication that I was not in agreement with it. And apart from that, as chairman of Social Security, I don't have a veto power. I mean, boards, they don't run that way. I mean, it's what we call equal among equals, primus inter pares. If, say for instance, they bring something before the board and I am not agreeable to it, the other members of the board can pass it. So whether I agree or not, it will be law or it will be a resolution.
Okay, now Mr. Samba, my question is, did you talk to any members of the board and indicate your concern?
I didn't talk to any members of the board. Okay. Any member of the board.
Did you indicate to management that this is giving your position as chairman of Social Security and Housing Finance Corporation and also as 50% owner of Gamvej? You were conflicted. Is there any person you spoke to who can confirm that you raised concerns about this sale?
Definitely, ma. I didn't speak to anybody about it because at that point in time in this country, like if I had spoken to any of them, you never know. They can go back to the head of state and tell him that Amadou Samba is trying to sabotage whatever. and I'll be in mile too. I wouldn't risk that. So that is the reason why I kept it to myself. And when it came before the board of GTB, I made my stance very clear.
This was after the president had written saying the money should be returned. Isn't it? The board meeting?
No. That was before. Actually, yes, the meeting at the board was when the president wrote a letter to say that they are no longer interested in the transaction, that he didn't give authority to anybody to apply for a loan on his behalf. It was there and then. Of course, the bank wrote a letter to Social Security, and it was in response to that letter that this president wrote the letter. And when I saw the letter...
Sorry, you wrote a letter to Social Security?
The president wrote a letter in response to Social Security. You know, Guarantee Trust wrote to Social Security.
I thought you said you wrote to Social Security. Guarantee Trust wrote
a letter to Security, Social Security,
demanding
to call the guarantee. And this is what prompted the president to write that letter, to say that he never sent Bojang and Mohamed Bazi to negotiate for the loan on his behalf. So, like I said, looking at the whole situation in the country then, myself as the chairman, I even told the managing director that, look, we have to return these funds, otherwise I'll find myself and you in mile 2.
Can we have the exhibits back, Mr. Samba? Please collect those exhibits. Mr. Samba, just one question, not directly connected to Gambia. At the time that this Gambia transaction took place, another transaction took place for Premier Agro Oil.
Yes.
Did you have anything to do with Premier Agro?
I had absolutely nothing to do with Premier Agro. I remember that one time I was involved in buying nuts. Myself and one guy called Alan, an American. And we used to buy nuts. That particular season we bought some nuts, and I think we sold it to Premier Agro. But as far as being a shareholder or having any participation, no.
All right. Let's move on to another subject. The commission, sorry, I apologize. The commissioners may have questions concerning Gambia. Thank you. I'll just move on to the Kairaba Beach Hotel.
Yes, ma'am.
Acquisition by the ex-president. You are aware that the ex-president at some point bought Kairaba Beach Hotel?
Definitely, yes.
At some point, you were a member of the board or chairman of the board of Kairaba Beach Hotel?
Can I give you the little historical background?
Now, could you answer my question first?
Yes, of course.
All right.
But
now, there was
chairman, quote unquote.
Okay. During what period were you chairman of Kairaba Beach Hotel?
I can't exactly remember, but immediately after it was purchased, that's why I wanted to give a little bit of history. It was Peter Smith.
All right. Now, before you give history, I'll just remind you that Mr. Mahmoud Lamin Sonko did say, you don't have to answer straight away. I'll just want to put you the evidence, the testimony that has been led here. Mr. Mahmoud Lamin Sonko did say that the ex-president, and I will quote from the transcript so that you'd have an opportunity during your testimony on Kairaba to react to the evidence if you wish. This is what he said. I agreed to buy the Kairaba Hotel at 10 million.
I am?
Sorry, let me just go back. Mr. Sonko said he was acting for Emir Karafi and Sons, who purchased the hotel subsequently from the president. And he said Emir Karafi had said to him that he wanted to buy the hotel for 10 million. Then he said, quote, When we came, Yaya Jammeh introduced me to Amadou Samba, and Amadou Samba took me to his sister Mary Samba, who prepared the documentation. But I said, okay, okay, but I will not sign. I can handle the money transaction, but then my area manager at the time, who had passed away, is one Ethiopian who signed on behalf of Karafi. Eyewitness, then Amadou Samba signed on behalf of Yahya Jammeh, and somebody else, I don't know who it was, signed. We bought the hotel for 10 million. Now, you may take this evidence in testimony in account as you respond, but you want to start and give us history. You can go ahead and tell us everything you know about Kairaba Beach Hotel.
I will begin by saying that Boto's evidence is all concocted. There is no iota. It's all concocted. There is no iota of truth in it. Because I was never, at any time, invited by Yaya Jammeh and Boto to discuss this transaction. Never. And I have, you know, I mean, it has never happened. Because I heard that Boto came here to say that I am the one that signed. I have documents to prove that it was not me that signed. It was signed by Robert Aswanden. Robert Aswanden was given power of attorney by one Catherine Tamba. Robert Aswanden was then the managing director or general manager of Kairaba Hotel. So I don't see how he put me into the picture, because Boto himself signed as witness on behalf of Mohamed Harafi. And this document was prepared by Edu Gomez. Edu Gomez, he is living, he is here. I can show you, I will show you the document. I have it here with me. It was signed by Edu Gomez. And there is nowhere you can see Amadou Samba. People just like my name. They say all kinds of things against me. I cannot understand this.
Can you restrain yourself, please, Mr.
Honestly,
Samba?
it's unfair.
Can you have said Mr. Sonko was an
yes, can witness. I give to
witness?
Sorry.
Please don't interrupt me.
Yes.
Mr. Sonko was a witness before this commission.
Yes.
I've just told you what he said. You've reacted to it. Just give your version, you know, and yes. You are here to assist the commission.
Let me start with the historical background of this Kairaba. Like I said, Peter Smith was the receiver for Kairaba. Then he was, I think, in Panel Foster. Kairaba went into liquidation, and he decided, in fact, I was one of the first people he approached to see whether I can make an offer for either Kairaba or Sunwing Hotel, which was then Sun Beach Hotel. So when he made the offer to me, somehow it leaked in town, and this guy came to see me, Baba Job, and asked me, requested me to introduce him to Peter Smith, which I did. I called Peter and said that maybe you will have a potential client for Kairaba. And that's when Peter met with Kairaba, Baba Job. I don't know what price they concluded, but somehow the sale was done. And I told Peter that I was interested in Sun Beach, but I need to get some joint venture partners. That's when I approached the Mauritanian bank. It was called BICI, then later on, I don't know what the name is. Maurice Cisse was then the managing director. I approached them to ask them whether they are interested in going into hotels, because I was never interested in the hospitality industry. But because the price was going very cheap, I said, okay, let me find some joint venture partners. That's when I invited Maurice Cisse together with Tariq Musa, and we bought the hotel for something like $1 million then. And of course, it involved a lot of, because the hotel was a write-off. So we had to inject a lot of money.
You're talking about Sunwing Hotel?
Sunwing, yes. I'll come to Kairaba.
Okay.
You know, then we had to inject a lot of money to make it, you know, a going concern. So the bank gave us money, that is BICI.
Mr. Samba?
Yes.
I'll need to take you back
and
to
now
Kairaba.
Let me come back to Peter Smith.
Yes, please.
So when I introduced Baba Jab to Peter Smith, they concluded the transaction, and Baba as a gesture, told me that he would like me to be the chairman. Of course, at that point in time, I was chairman for Sunbeach, I was chairman for Ocean Bay, I was chairman for Slok Air, I was chairman for Gambia International Insurance, and several other business establishments. But the appointment, my appointment as a chairman, like I said, was only symbolic, because there was never a board meeting. I mean, all the decisions were made by Baba Job directly to Robert Aswanden. So really, my role as chairman, like I said, was only symbolic.
Who were the other directors of Kairaba at the time you were chairman?
I wouldn't know. But I know that at that point in time, I mean, Kairaba was bought by Baba Job. They had an offshore company in which they bought the hotel. I think that it was bought from Side Gambia or something like that. Side Gambia sold it to, what was it again? Was it Millennium? Or there was a company they created.
So as you are saying, as chairman of the board, there was never a meeting?
There was never a meeting.
Wasn't it your responsibility to call a meeting?
I've been chairman.
Mr. Samba,
sorry, ma'am.
Was it your responsibility to call a meeting of the board?
Well, it depends, because I was not the owner of the hotel. I mean, I only go according to the dictates of the proprietor. So it's the proprietor that appointed me chairman. So if he wishes, he will say, you should call up a meeting, we have that and that and that to talk about. But never like that. I mean, it was just Robert Swanden and Baba Job doing their thing. So I just kept aside. Of course, occasionally, Robert Aswanden, knowing that I was chairman, he will consult me, but not in the presence of Baba Job. It was purely on my business experience or whatever, because he knew that I was running other hotels too.
So how did President Jammeh came into the picture?
President Jammeh came to the picture, I think, yes please. Pardon?
The agreement.
Yeah, I would like to tender the agreement. Do you want me to tender
if you have any documents that you would like the commission to see,
yeah.
what document is that?
Let me show you. I have got it.
Mention the document.
No, I have it here, Mary. I have the document, that is the sale agreement between, I have the sale agreement between Kairaba Beach Hotel and Mohammed Abdul Muhsin Harafi and Sons with serial registration number 248/200S, volume 68 RD. That's one. And even I have the...
Sorry, between, you said, Kairaba and Alaji Mohsen?
Between Millennium Industrial and General Trading Company, which I think was the company of the head of state, and Mohammed Abdul Mohsin Al-Harafi and Sons. And I even have I took a copy of the registration. It's here with me, it's photocopied. Then I also have...
So far, your testimony gets to the point where...
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Can I just tell you the documents I have, ma'am?
Just wait. They have to be in context.
Yes.
You mentioned that Side Gambia sold to, is it Baba Job, you said?
Yes, I have it.
You have the document?
That's what I'm coming now.
Yes, all right.
and it was between Kairaba Hotel Limited and Side Investment Limited. And it was you had Peter Smith and one John Stewart Beard. They were the receivers. This is serial registration number number 341, 1997, volume 60.
What is the purpose of that agreement?
It's an assignment.
Assignment between
Kairaba
the receivers and who?
Between Kairaba Hotel and Side Investment Limited. I have other documents here too. Just allow me.
The document selling to Baba Job, that's the document that you said you had.
Oh, okay. Just one minute.
Yes, if you can add it to the package that you want to have admitted.
Let me see. This is resolution of the Board of Directors of Side Gambia Limited at the annual general meeting held on the 6th day of March 2003 at Kairaba Hotel. Lanconte and Baba Job have given, whereas Lanconte and Baba Job have given this board notice of their intention to transfer their entire shareholding hearing. The above notice proposal having been discussed, no members of the company have expressed a willingness to take up the shares. Resolved that the board approves the transfer of 51% of shares of Baba Job and 49% shares of Lanconte, and accept to register same in the books of the company.
Transferred to which company?
Pardon?
Which company was it being transferred to?
It was transferred to Side Gambia, to this Millennium. Millennium, that's the president's company.
And what is the company that was making the transfer?
The Side Gambia.
All right.
I think it was Side Gambia.
That's the resolution.
Yes.
Do you have the share transfer documents?
Well, this is the resolution. Yes. Allow me, please. I want to make a point here. Like I was saying that I was chairman, my chairmanship was symbolic. If you look at the signature here in the resolution, it's the signature of Baba Job as chairman and Lanconte as secretary director.
Do you have the share transfers?
This is the other resolution. It has been presented to and discussed at the meeting. The notice by Lanconte and Baba Job of their intention to transfer their entire shareholdings to Millennium Industrial and General Trading Company Limited. No member or director of the company is desirous of acquiring the said shares. The directors herein have resolved to approve the transfer and register.
Mr. Samba,
pardon?
You know we do have a procedure.
Yes, ma'am.
You want to have documents admitted. You just have to identify the documents and tell us their connection. Then when it's admitted, you can read from the document.
Oh, sorry, ma'am.
Yes, please. So let's make progress.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Let's have the share transfers.
The share transfer,
if you have them.
Yes, the share transfer of shares.
What is the date and the parties?
This is by Baba Job. The date here is 20404, and it was dated 1st day of March 2003. It was signed by Baba Job. Transfer of shares of 51 ordinary shares in West Coast Properties Holding Company Limited to Millennium. And there is another one by Lanconte, transferring 49 ordinary shares in West Coast Properties Holding Limited.
What was the connection between West Coast Property Limited and Millennium?
Pardon?
What is the connection between West Coast? Because you had mentioned
West
Side
Coast,
Gambia. Sorry,
Coast.
let me finish my question, Mr. Samba.
Sorry, ma'am.
You had mentioned them in the resolution. There is reference to Side Gambia. That's what you said, I think. That Side Gambia was transferring to Millennium. Now we have a new company.
No, I think...
What is the connection?
Yes, ma'am. I think what I have here is an assignment. It's not a share transfer. I saw there is an assignment here, 21st of November, between Kairaba Hotel Limited in receivership, a limited liability incorporated under the laws of the Gambia, acting by its receivers of the one part and Side Gambia. I think this was to transfer. Side Gambia was actually the company that the receivers were using. So Kairaba, being in liquidation, was giving powers or was transferring, assigning the property to Side Gambia, and it was Side Gambia that sold it to this West Coast, what's the name of the company? West Coast something. I just mentioned it. That's the company owned by Baba Job and Lanconte.
Are there any other documents you want to have admitted in relation to?
I have the transfer of shares. Then there is also a lease document. I saw it somewhere. Yes, this was a lease. This lease was done by M.A. Harafi after the assignment. Of course, there is this agreement, this sale agreement between Millennium Industrial, which was the company of the president, and Mohammed Harafi. And it is clear here that...
Mr. Samba.
Yes, ma'am.
Just tell us the documents you want to have admitted.
Yes, these are the documents. These are the documents, ma'am.
Thank you. All right. Can you put them in... I
have everything here. And the incorporation...
Maybe your
yes, ma'am. I also have the certificate of incorporation.
Maybe your lawyer can help you put them in a,
yes, in
a logical order.
Yes, ma'am.
And then we will look at them.
Yes, ma'am. I also have the certificate of incorporation of Side Gambia Limited. Power of attorney given to Robert Aswanden to carry out the sales.
By who?
By Catherine Tamba, representing... Catherine Tamba is the director of Millennium Industrial and General Trading Company. That's the company of the former president.
How do you know Millennium was the company of the former president?
I made a search. And it was a matter of, it was a fact that I knew that the president was at one point the owner of Kairaba. Everybody, it is an open secret.
My question was in relation to Millennium. Where did you carry out the search?
I carried out the search after all this, when Boto made the accusations.
Where did you carry out the search?
At the Ministry of Justice.
Millennium Company is not registered at the Ministry of Justice.
Well, but I happen to have the documents because initially my sister was handling this transaction on behalf of Harafi. So she was kind enough to give me all these documents.
By your sister, you mean your lawyer, Mrs. Mary
My
Samba?
sister is my lawyer.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine.
Do you have the documents ready?
The documents are ready, yeah. Here.
Documents.
Can I see them before?
Mr. Samba,
Yes.
are you a close associate of former President Jammeh?
At all not. I mean, I was a friend, quote unquote, of President Jammeh. Because the reason why I say quote unquote is because our friendship, some of the actions he was taking was inconsistent with genuine friendship. I have, in fact, some people have been speculating as to how I survived President Jammeh for 22 years.
So he's a friend?
No, allow me please. Some people have been speculating as to how I survived President Jammeh for 22 years. The answer is very simple. It's because I have never associated with him in business, and I have never interfered with his power. Okay. Because judging from other people's experience, if you associate with President Jammeh in business, he will eat all the money and concoct a big story and send you to jail. These are the things, two things I avoided, and that is the reason why I survived him.
That's fine. That's fine for now.
Despite all the talk, all the speculation.
We'll come to that. You are neither a business associate nor a close associate. You were a friend. I
was a friend, but friend, quote unquote, because some of his actions, like I said, were inconsistent with genuine friendship.
That's
a typical example is like importing cement, competing me, like closing my son's bureau de change, telling people, I later on found out that he told people that close that my so-called supporters bureau.
That's fine. We'll come to that. Let's take it step by step, yes, Mr. Samba. Prior to ex-President Jammeh's advent as president of this country, what did you do? Were you a businessman? Can you tell us what you did before 1994?
Exactly. Prior to the coming of President Jammeh, I started business way back in 1986. I brought in my first cement vessel in 1986. And I have been importing cement uninterrupted to date. Although I have a partnership with Gashem, but I still have a margin on every bag of cement. Collect it and we export it to Las Palmas. So that was an other business I was doing.
Yes,
I was also involved in trading, general trading, like I sold soft drinks, I sold onions, potatoes, cosmetics, you name it.
That's fine. He found you in business.
He found me very well established in business.
Good. So your friendship with the former president did not help you in any way to succeed. Actually, you were a self-made man, sir, prior to
yes, sir. Actually,
to the friendship.
Actually, it costed me a lot.
Can you start with a yes before you explain?
Yes, yes.
You were successful in business before your friendship.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead. Explain.
Actually, it costed me a lot. People don't know. I mean, I am the only person that can explain the type of situation I was in. Like, he befriended me when we started the airport, and it was all to his advantage. I mean, he will make unnecessary demands, ask me to borrow him money, and at the end of the day, I cannot ask him to pay me back, because I know from other people's experience that he will deal with me afterwards. And sometimes he will, like, you know, I mentioned in one of my interviews that I was managing President Jammeh. Some people deliberately misconstrued it to mean that I was managing Yahya Jammeh's business. That's totally wrong. When I said I was managing Yahya Jammeh, I meant that I was doing things, I was swallowing things which under normal circumstances I wouldn't accept. But I had to do it because my life was in jeopardy, my business empire was at stake, so I had all these reasons.
So do you feel the former president used you for his advantage?
Definitely. In fact, at one point in time, I wanted to leave this country because my family, everybody was worried. They said, Papa, we have to get out of this place. But I told him to be patient. Because if I dare move out of this country, I know this guy. He's going to eliminate my business. He will even endanger my life. And that's why I stayed in this country. But there was a point in time, I was out of the Gambia. My soul was out of the Gambia. But I couldn't help it.
But Mr. Samba, you got a few big contracts without tender. Was that part of being used?
Like which contract?
The airport, the courthouse. Airport. Was it Gamsen? You mentioned Gamsen.
Yeah, Gamsen. The airport, I think.
Was that part of being used?
Yes, ma'am. Let me come. The airport and the Supreme Court was like, I explained it already to you, that it was during the transition. And in fact, it was not me that had the contract. It was Per Kujabi who paved the way for me. So I was incorporated into the company as a shareholder, but it was because of Per Kujabi's efforts. He's the one that designed it. He's the one that designed the airport. He's the one that designed the Supreme Court and sold it to the president.
So he won the contract and needed a local partner.
Exactly.
That's why you worked with him.
In fact, the president told him that you required a local partnership. Director, Millennium Industrial and General Trading.
Sorry, can you start again? We can.
Power of attorney.
Dated
17th day of May 2004.
You said between Robert Aswanden and...
Signed by Catherine Tamba, Director, Millennium Industrial and General Trading Company, appointing Robert Aswanden, Managing Director of Kairaba Hotel.
Okay, that's fine.
Is signed by Catherine Tamba.
Very well.
Then you have the permission to assign lease, site investment.
Dated?
5th of April 2002. Assignment of Kairaba to site Gambia. These are the documents I obtained from my sister.
All right. Can we have those documents, please?
Yes.
Yes, you're explaining.
Yes, then the other ones, the one from the Attorney General's chambers, is sales agreement.
You obtained it from the, you mean the Registrar General's department?
Yes, this is what I obtained from the Registrar General's.
Okay.
Sale agreement of landed property, known as Kairaba Beach Hotel, now under lease serial registration number K141/1989.
The next document, that's sufficient.
That's serial registration number 248/2005, volume 68.
All right, next document.
Then the next document is the registry, the entry, showing that it was registered by Mohammed Abdul Hasim Harafi. It's just a piece of paper. Then the next one is the transfer of shares. With serial registration number 20/2004, volume 11 MD, dated 10th day of March 2004, signed by Baba Job. That's the transfer of the 51%. And there's another one, transfer of shares by Lanconte, serial registration number 21/2004, volume 11 MD, dated 9th day of March 2004. Then you have the Secretary of State responsible for lands on behalf of Government of the Republic, and Mohammed Abdul Mohsin Al-Harafi and Sons. I think this was the lease.
What's the serial registration number?
The serial registration number... Mary, the serial registration number is not photocopied here.
Mr. Samba, the transfers of shares don't have a backing.
Allow me, please. The serial registration. I have it here, but I can look for it.
All right. The transfers of shares don't have a backing. Is there any reason? Who photocopied it? You obtained them yourself from the registrar, these documents?
Yes, I did.
You did not have them certified. Is there any reason why you didn't have them certified by the registrar?
Well, it's because I'm not directly affected as such. You know, I mean, I just had to look for these documents to buttress my argument or to defend myself.
But you understand, as a lawyer, you know, if
yes, I'm very sorry.
They have to be certified.
Yes, I should have done that.
Yes, let's have the documents.
Definitely.
We'll apply to have them admitted. You are saying these are the ones that you had from the Registrar General? All right. Yes. Can you give him the ones you had from the Registrar General? Yes.
The ones?
Give it to him, the documents.
Yes.
These are all from the Registrar General's records. That's what you said.
Yes, I think the first ones, the first batch I've already submitted. This is from the registry.
Mr. Chairman, may I apply to have admitted documents produced by the witness? The first set of documents containing a power of attorney, permission to assign lease serial registration number K72 of 1993, an assignment, a copy of they are all copies. Serial registration number 341, 1997, volume 60 KD, said to be from the witness's sister. One set. And a second set of documents, including transfer of shares, serial registration number 21 of 2004, volume 11, what's this? MI, transfer of shares, serial registration number 20 of 2004, volume 11, MD, an extract from the registrar which is not certified, this document doesn't have, says to be a lease, but doesn't have a date and doesn't have a serial registration number. Give it to Mr. Salmon, please. Sale agreement, SR number 248/2005, bottom 68 KD. Another extract from the register not certified, and two transfers. And these are copies of the same document. Give them to Mr. Samba. Finally, on a sale agreement, SR number 248/2005, volume 68 KD. Oh, there are extra copies. They are the same as this. Can you check? They are the same as this.
This is Gambia. This is West Coast.
24 of 2004, volume 11,
This is West
MD. that's the second set of documents. Now I have here, Mr. Chairman, 4 documents, all said to be sale agreements. They are copies. They are not franked, they are not backed, and 2 of them bear serial registration number 20 of 2004, volume 11 MD, each of them the same serial registration number, but said to be sale transfers. They will, in respect of shares inside Gambia Invest Limited and West Coast Properties Holding Company Limited. And another set also bearing the same serial registration number, but pertaining to 2 different companies as well, inside Gambia and West Coast Properties Holding Company Limited. We will apply to the registrar in due course to provide the file in connection to these transactions.
Which one? Different from the bank. Okay. Okay.
bundle of documents consisting of A. Assignment dated 21st November 1997, serial registration number 341/1997, volume 60 KD, between Kairaba Beach Hotel and Side Gambia Investment Limited. B. Permission to assign lease serial registration number K72/1993, dated 5th April 2002, by the Department of Lands and Surveys to Side Gambia Investment Limited in favor of Senegambia Hotel Limited. C. Share transfer dated 10th of March 2003 from Baba Job to Millennium Industrial and General Trading Company Limited. D. Shares transfer dated 9th March 2003 from Lang Conte to presumably Millennium Industrial and General Trading. E. Share transfer dated 9th March 2003 from Langconte to Millennium Company. F. Shares transfer dated 10th of March 2004 from Baba Job to Millennium. G. Sale agreement of landed property known as Kairaba Beach Hotel, dated 8th June 2004 and bearing serial registration number 248/2005, volume 68 KD, between Millennium Industrial and M.A. Gaddafi and Son. Hold on. No. All right, I'm sorry about that. We'll read G again. Sale agreement of landed property known as Kairaba Beach Hotel, dated 8th June 2004 and bearing serial registration number 248 volume 68 KD between Millennium Industrial and M.A. Karafi and Sons. H. Power of attorney dated 17th May 2004 from Catherine Tamba, Director of Millennium Industrial, to Robert Ashwande, Managing Director of Kairaba Beach Hotel. All admitted in a bundle and marked MS-92. Why is it duplicate? There is a duplicate here, or a photocopy showing exactly the same as appears in an exhibit. We are returning it.
The witness is here, Mr. Chairman. Can we proceed? Thank you. Mr. Samba, you referred to some resolutions in your testimony. You referred to some resolutions in your testimony, which you did not include in the package. Would you like to have them admitted?
I like to.
Would you like to have the resolutions you referred to admitted?
Yes, please.
If you have them, can you produce them?
Which resolutions? Oh, Mary. That's it.
Mr. Chairman, I would apply to have admitted further documents produced by the witness, being resolutions of the Board of Directors of Site Gambia Investment Limited, dated 9th day of March 2003 and 10th day of March 2003. In relation to 1 Millennium Industrial General Trading Company Limited shares, What is this? H? Let's try this. Run a line through it. If I run a line through it, lawyers don't strike like this.
Board resolution of Side Gambia Investment Limited, dated 9th March 2003, concerning Lang Contes and Baba Job's intentions to transfer their entire shareholding to Millennium Industrial and Trading Company Limited. Admitted mark MS 93A.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
No, it's not done. Then, Board resolution of Side Gambia Investment Limited, dated 10th March 2003, concerning the Board's approval of the transfer of 51% of Baba Job's shareholding and 49% of Lanconte's shareholding in Side Gambia to Millennium. Admitted mark MS 93B. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can you give the witness MS 92H, please? MS 92H. H. Power of attorney. Can you show counsel, please? Yes, please. Thank you. Mr. Samba, MS 92H, which is the power of attorney, dated 17th day of May 2004, from Catherine Tamba to Robert Ashwanden, Managing Director, Karaba Hotel, appears to be a fax document from the heading. Appears to be a fax document from Global Trading Group. Is there any, what is the connection between Global Trading Group and this document?
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know because I'm not a shareholder in Global Trading Group.
You produced the document, that's why I'm asking you.
I got it from my sister.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Now, after the former president acquired the hotel, you remained as chairman of the board. Is that correct?
I wouldn't say so. I mean, I have never sat to discuss anything regarding Kairaba with the president. And it was Baba Job that appointed me So really, I don't know. I've never sat with the president to discuss Kairaba.
Are you saying you resigned after the president acquired the hotel?
Well, like
chairman of the board.
Like I said earlier, my chairmanship was symbolic because there was no board. I mean, everything was centered around Baba Job and Robert Aswanden. Sometimes Robert will, of course, seek my advice if he thinks it's necessary. But other than that, I wouldn't consider that chairmanship, because if you're a chairman, you're supposed to be having board meetings, you convene meetings, have agenda, but nothing like that happened.
Mr. Samba, who remained as managing director of Kairaba after the president acquired it?
It was Robert Aswanden.
At the time it was sold, who was the managing director?
Robert Aswanden.
It was sold to M.A. Karafi and Sons, as you produced some documents to that effect.
Exactly.
Yes. Now, what part did you play in the sale to M.A. Karafi and Sons?
Absolutely no part. I can remember one time Robert called me to seek advice. He was asking me whether, you know, like the stock, that is the stock they had in the hotel, should be part of the sales. And according to Robert, he said from experience, he doesn't think it should be part of the sales. So that is, in fact, I concurred with him, I agreed with him, and told him that he should take his stance.
Mr. Samba, Mr. Sonko said specifically that after they took over the hotel, you said that the stock were not part of the sale and that it should be sold separately. What do you say to that?
As far as the sales of Kairaba is concerned, I had absolutely no discussions with Mr. Sonko. I was talking to Robert. I mean, I think it's really funny that Mr. Sonko wants to rope me into this transaction. I have never met with Mr. Sonko regarding Kairaba. The only discussion I had was with Robert Aswanden, and he sought my opinion. He wanted me to maybe give him comfort or whatever. When he actually told me that, you know, from experience, normally the stock is never part of the sale. And that was it. There was no single time that I sat down and discussed with Mr. Sonko. I think...
Were you aware Mr. Sonko was conducting the sale on behalf of Emir Karafi and
Of course I knew. I mean, it was all over the place. But at the end of the day, I mean, I had nothing to do with Mr. Sonko. He kept on fabricating stuff against me for no reason. Absolutely.
Mr. Samba?
Yes.
Did you take Mr. Sonko to your sister Mary Samba to represent them in the sale?
Never. Never. I think the reason why they went to my sister, Robert had this relationship with Mary Samba. So as a result of that, I think Robert took Mr. Sonko to Mary Samba, but not me.
Mr. Samba, apart from being chairman of Kairaba Beach Hotel, were you a director on the board of Kairaba Beach Hotel Limited?
I was never a director. Director how? I was
Chairman of boards are normally directors on the board. Chairman of boards are normally directors on the board. That's why I ask you the question. Apart from serving as chair, were you a director on the board?
I don't consider myself a director. You know, like I said, there was no formal appointment letter. There was no board meeting. It was symbolic, more symbolic than anything else.
When Karafi and Sons purchased the hotel, did you have anything to do with the hotel thereafter?
Absolutely not.
Do you know how much the hotel was sold for by the ex-president?
Actually, I only knew about it when Bertotto was giving evidence. I was never part of this transaction. One thing people don't know, when the president is doing this type of things, I'm always shut out. I don't know what the reason is, but he always shuts me out.
Did you attend any meeting at the office of the president, in the president's office with Mr. Lanconte concerning the sale of Kairaba Bishop?
Not at all.
Right. All right, Mr. Chairman, those are the questions I have on Kairaba. Maybe the commissioners might have questions for Mr. Samba. Mr. Sonko will be coming back.
Mr. Samba, just following on the role or the close associate question, you said you were just a friend. The dictionary definition of a close associate is a friend you spend a lot of time with, do business with, or work with. Now, can you confirm to this commission that you neither did business with the former president or work with him? You were simply a friend personally.
I have never had any business relationship with the president or worked with him. I remember one instance which I think is relevant. When he fell out with Baba Job, he called me into his office one morning and was telling me to step into Baba Job's shoes because Baba Job was then importing commodities with him. Then he said that he will facilitate the financing through the central bank. Okay, there and then, like I said, I always manage him. I didn't say yes or no. But he said he will facilitate it through the governor of the central bank, then was Clark Bajo. Then from his office, I went straight to Clark and told him to count me out. I told him that he should find a way of giving him an excuse. And that was the end of that story. Since then, I think because of, my attitude, he doesn't involve me in this type of activity. Anything to do with business, never.
Okay. So
never.
Okay.
I mean, you can check all his companies. Allow me, please. All his companies. I'm not a shareholder. His accounts, I'm not a part of the accounts. There is no transfer from me to him or him to me. We didn't have that relationship. Although people built that preconceived notion that I was in business with Yaya Jammeh. They went up to the extent of saying that Yaya Jammeh gave me $900 million, for God's sake, with the present financial, with the current financial world. That is money laundering. And these days, for you to transfer even a single dime from one account to the other, you have to give explanation of the source of financing. Before ever you launch any amount, you transfer dollars for that matter. All dollar transactions pass via New York. But this was all done by my enemies.
Thank you.
They thought they can use this to assassinate my character.
Thank you. That's fine for now. You didn't work with him. You didn't represent business interests for him. Yes. Now, let's go to the last part. Did you spend a lot of time with him, either in the State House or outside the State House? Did you visit each other or spend time together?
No. I mean, we used to meet. I went to his office a few times. Most of the time we spoke on the phone. My relationship with Yaya Jammeh was more on the phone than anything else. And that is mainly, like, for instance, international affairs. He's very much into international affairs, and he knows that I am interested in, that's my life. My whole life is current affairs. So normally if he sees a breaking news or sees something on the TV, he will call me and say, are you watching? I'll watch with him. Sometimes with boxing matches. It was more of a social relationship. But when it comes to business, he doesn't discuss it with me. When it comes to his politics, I avoided it.
Thank you. So we want to summarize this in a very short way. You were a supporter and an advisor. Is that correct?
No, I was supporting his party. As a businessman, I was supporting his party. In fact, he was in a way using me. Like when he has big gatherings, he will make sure that I'm invited. Even if I don't go, he will ask for me. And sometimes he will call me and I find out why I didn't go. I supported his party, definitely. Yes. Both financially, I did contributions, but that's where I stopped.
Okay. That's fine. Thank you. Over to you.
Yes,
sorry. How much time do we have? There are quite a number of other subjects.
We have only 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Let me take.
Can I read all this?
Yes, please collect the exhibits from Mrs. Samba. Mrs. Samba, we just have 15 minutes, so we'll just go to hopefully a shorter subject. You're aware of Kanilai Kanilai International Festival, tribute to Michael Jackson?
Yes.
I believe the investigators brought to your attention certain payments.
Exactly.
From that account.
Exactly.
Now, the Commission is interested in this account because you can't hear me. Sorry about that. All right. Kanilai International Festival, tribute to Michael Jackson account. This account is subject matter of investigation by the Commission because a total of $11 million was paid from the central bank into this account. The transactions from the account shows that of this sum, the sum of $3 million, a check of $3 million was paid to you. It was shown to you by the investigators, I believe.
They did, ma.
Yes. This is exhibits. What happened today? Mr. Samba, why was $3 million paid to you from this account, which is the account lodged at the Trust Bank, number 110-117-33601?
Yes, I mean, I got this, this check was sold to me by the investigators. So as a result, I tried to do some research as to what the transaction was all about. And I must say that the head of state used to engage my services, like, for instance, if he wants foreign currency, especially CFA, he will ask me to purchase it on his behalf. He has done that on several occasions, like even euro and other currencies. And if I can remember, he used to purchase CFA for animal feed. And in this particular occasion, when I saw the check, I tried to go through my trust bank account, and I discovered that when this amount was paid into my account, soon after that, I drew a check in favor of Mr. Rene Blaine, because Rene Blaine was working with me. He used to work in the Forex business. So normally when I get this kind of request, I give it to him, and I'm not 100% sure, but I know that it was in connection with the purchase of SEFA, because as soon as I put in this money into my account, I drew a check for the same amount, 3 million, in favor of Mr. Rene Blaine.
Mr. Samba, your statement to the investigators indicates that this money was spent otherwise than you're telling the commission now.
Yeah.
Would you like time to check it again?
No. I will tell you.
Yes.
You know, this transaction happened a long time ago.
Yes.
So when I was confronted by the investigators, I didn't do my research. I didn't do my homework in terms of looking at the accounts, etc. So I told them that it must have been some, because the president used to tell me to do a lot of things for him. Like, for instance, if he wants to buy building materials, he will ask for quotation, because he said people used to cheat him a lot. So he will send that same quotation to me to verify, to see whether I can obtain discount for him and all the rest of it. So in this particular occasion, when I was called by the investigators, I started wondering whether it was for building materials, whether it was for fireworks, even fireworks. Some of his, I had the contact for fireworks. He will call me and say, okay, can you get a quotation for fireworks? Then when I get it, he will pay for it. So when I met the investigators, there and then I didn't do my research, but afterwards I went through the account, the trust bank account where I paid in this money, and I discovered that the same amount was paid to Rene Blaine. And the only, the reason why I said it must have been for foreign currency, because Rene was purely dealing with foreign currency as far as I am concerned. So it couldn't have been for anything else. This is why you have some inconsistencies in terms of the original statement I made with what I'm saying now.
If you did buy it for, use it for the purchase of foreign currency, would you have any record to show that this foreign currency was, what happened to the foreign currency? Did you give it to?
Actually, sorry ma, actually that will be a difficult task, because this transaction happened a long time ago. I mean, we never knew that a day like today will happen. So, and especially when it comes to things like safety, I mean, most of these transactions are done informally. You go down to the market, try to gather us from different individuals. So at the end of the day, it will be very difficult to come out with a formal receipt, especially with SEFA.
Mr. Chairman, this transaction is in relation to BB72C, for the record, BB72C. BB72C, Exhibit BB72C. This is the Trust Bank Statement of Account and Transaction Documents on Canela International Festival Tribute to Michael Jackson. Mr. Samba, I'm sure you will appreciate that, as I told you, if 11 million, that's 8 million plus 3 million, 11 million dollars of public funds went into this account, and the Commission would like you to account for it, if you can. The 3 million that was paid to you, if you can.
Well, like I said, this check.
I'm just suggesting to you, you've said what you said.
Yes,
to account for it if you can. If
yes,
you cannot, then you tell the Commission you cannot account for it.
Yes, ma'am. Can I respond? Because
if you want.
Yes, this check was in the name of Canela Festival. So, in my wildest imagination, I wouldn't think that there was government funds involved in such a transaction, because the check was in the name of Canela Family Farms, and when I received the check, I paid it into my account, and in turn drew another check for $3 million, and it was purely for him, not for me.
So you're saying you don't have an account of it? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that. I'll make every effort.
Thank you.
I will make every effort, definitely, because at the end of the day, I have to help this commission.
Okay, Mr. Samba, let's move on to another transaction, which is also a relatively small one, in relation to Social Security and Housing Finance Corporation.
Yeah.
This is in relation to Exhibit SC 18. Exhibit SC 18.
Can I have the exhibit?
Do we have it? SC 18.
Huh?
Do you want to tender the check?
Yes, can I tender the check that Rennie Blaine was paid $3 million?
Can you indicate the account from which he was paid $3 million?
It was from my account, account number 0211002008-701.
In which bank?
Trust Bank.
So this is the account into which the $3 million was paid?
Yes, exactly.
Just one or two questions. This is a payment, cash payment. How do you know it was paid to Rennie Blaine?
Pardon?
This is a cash. It says cash.
Yes, but I think there is something there to show that Rennie Blaine
back.
cashed it.
Okay.
At the back.
All right. Rennie Blaine, ID number 105885.
Exactly.
Telephone 704-0149. Mr. Chairman, may I apply to have admitted a photocopy of a check produced by the witness dated 19 August 2010. Account number as indicated 211002008-701 and check number 01689590. Produced by the witness as money paid to Mr. Rennie Blaine with regard to an amount of $3 million paid into his account from exhibits. Maybe you took it out.
Trust Bank check number 016-89590, dated 19th August 2010, for $3 million, drawn by Amadou Samba. Payee cash. But back of the check shows that Rene Blaine, passport ID number PC 105885, received the said amount in cash. Admitted Mark MS 94.
Mr. Samba, where is Mr. Rene Blaine?
Mr. Rene Blaine is in town. He's here. He's in Gambia.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, that might be an appropriate place before I go into some other issue. That might be a convenient place to start.
Very well. We'll rise and we'll be back at 2:30.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.